The next movie we have up in the Jim Carrey duo is going to be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Long title for sure. Yeah. 6. Originally, it was going to be 18 words, I guess. I don't know what those 18 words were. Maybe it was the entire quote from Alexander Pope, who now I can only think Pope Alexander. Because Pope is like a pope. It's weird that it's his last name. Anyway, I digress. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a science fiction romance movie that came out in 2004. It's written by Charlie Kaufman and directed by Michael Gondry. The title is based off a 1717 poem by Alexander Pope. We'll talk about that more later. Obviously, it's pretty important to the deeper themes and messages of this movie. It's also a drama because it uses that non-linear storytelling, but more important part is it's kind of like a psychological drama. And a lot of these type like psychological movies.
How many times have you seen it before?
I've only seen it. This is the second time.
And this is my first time watching it.
Yes.
So.
It's a confusing movie.
I think I understood it though. I'm pretty positive.
I gotta say, I mean, the first time I watched it, it took me like a day or two to piece it together, and I didn't even. The second time, I figured it out more.
After I watched it, I was like, oh, so that's what happened. I figured it out. Like I had theories of what going into it, and I'm gonna ask one question about it later, but unless you cover it.
Yeah. Like a lot of times, just like with the whole dream sequences. You when you see stuff like that, it's often like drug sequences. So and those are usually psychological thrillers. So.
Okay, wait, I'm just gonna say now. Did he get his memory erased twice?
More than twice.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It's possible that he's gotten erased like 10 times.
I figured it happened definitely more than once because he's in different places a lot of the times.
We'll get into it. So, it made $74 million on a $20 million budget. It got 1 Oscar win for Best Adapted Screenplay and then a nomination from Kate Winslet for Best Actress. The idea arose after the co-writer, and I'm guessing co-writer because he came up with the idea. I don't know how much he actually wrote. Was talking to a friend who had just broken up with someone, and then when asked if she would erase him from his memory, she said yes. An idea was sparked. But that was in 1999, so obviously it didn't get off the ground right away.
1 year after The Truman Show came out.
So, no, it's the same year, right?
Wait. No, 1998, I think.
Yeah, this is 1998. Did I say 1999? I meant 1998. My bad. So, it didn't get off the ground right away. This is because they didn't think the concept was marketable. And then, even worse, in 2000, Christopher Nolan released Memento, which is a very similar storytelling
I have not
technique,
seen Memento.
Where it's different, but the backwards storytelling, most of Memento takes place backwards. So it's like, that's kind of what this movie is. The whole like second act and like half the third act all...
That feels bad for them then, for sure.
Yeah, so like they already didn't have faith in them. And then on top of that, Memento comes out.
Did Christopher Nolan actually know that this movie was being made and copied it?
Maybe he was going backwards in time, so he saw Eternal Sunshine come out and then decided to make Memento. Who knows?
Or he just knew someone in the business who has read the script and gave him the idea.
Or I don't even know if they wrote a script yet. Whatever. I don't think they did actually. I think they were still coming up with the idea, and it was still in house, you could say. So Kaufman had a lot of trouble balancing the sci-fi and the romance. He also had trouble figuring out how the memories are going to play out. And he solved this by coming up with the idea that Joel is kind of lucid during these dreams. Like, he can talk, narrate it, and obviously he's going through a lot. So he's allowed to talk to himself, which makes it easier
It's kind of like an out-of-body experience of sorts.
Yeah, I'd say that is what it is. Because a lot of times we'll see him looking at himself. But when we get to, like, the dreams, he is himself, but he's, like, interacting as if. Something the cinematographer found difficult was balancing the gray like blue toned world with like the whimsy orange and all that stuff. He also they didn't have marks or rehearsals much. They didn't have like a lot of time, so they actually constantly had 2 cameras recording. I think this was 36,000 feet of film a day, and then they were using different weird techniques for dollies, like someone on a wheelchair and all this stuff, and this caused like a lot of improvisation. So one of those was Winslet, who punched, when she punches Carrie on the train. Well, improvised. She just was like, oh yeah, for sure, I'll slack him.
Really?
Yeah. And then also, just like a lot of the dialogue, and then when Ruffalo scares Dunst, they hit him around the set in different places. so that every time it like actually scared her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That makes sense.
kind of cool. So there also isn't much CGI. They used a lot of forced perspective. That's mostly with that one like table scene, and then spotlighting, unsynchronized sound, and even more to achieve the special effects or specific effects. My bad. Winslet says this is her favorite performance that she's done. Obviously, she was in Titanic, but she thinks this is better.
She was barely in it. Oh wait, no, I thought you were talking about Kristen Dunst for a second. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, Winslet.
Yeah.
And also, this makes sense too. Her hair wasn't like dyed; it was a wig. Because, yeah, if you were to bleach your hair that many times, probably wouldn't be good for it.
I think she's an underrated actress.
Winslet?
Yeah.
She gets a good amount of support.
Well, after this and Titanic, she was only in one other movie I've seen, and Divergent.
Yeah. Well, I don't like her in Divergent, but I guess that's the point.
I never liked her because of Divergent, but now that I've actually seen her other stuff, I'm like, she's kind of underrated.
Yeah,
I think she's not enough today.
Yeah, she isn't. She like made Titanic and then like this and then kind of fell off. I don't know. That happens a lot. You'll see that. So now we can get into the movie. So we open by setting the world. We see Joel, who's played by Jim Carrey. The world is gray. He lives a simple life where he just goes to work. He seems bored, sad. We also get a lot of hints here right away as he kind of narrates what's going on. So first off, the pages of the notebook are ripped out already. He's like, I don't remember doing that.
Wait, what year did this come out again?
2004.
I know why.
What?
I know why Joel was named Joel.
Why?
You know which Joel I'm talking about?
From our school?
Yeah.
No, we're done.
Before it.
We're done.
Think about it.
He's probably 2005 or 6.
Yeah, exactly. This came out 2004.
Oh, so you think he's named after?
Yeah.
It's Joel. Whatever you want to think, John. Joel is not a new name. You know this movie did not invent the name Joel.
I know, but like, have you ever met anyone besides that Joel in this Joel?
I'm good friends with Billy Joel.
That doesn't count. That's his last name.
No, it's his first name. You didn't know that?
No.
He switched his names. His name's actually Joel Billy.
Oh, really? Let me see. Let me see his birth certificate.
Well, I don't own his birth certificate. Oh, you silly goose. You just have to trust me on this one.
Okay.
It'll be on screen, as you can see. Joel Billy.
But wait, how much money did this make?
70 million. 74 million.
This could have popularized the name Joel.
No. Joel Billy did.
No.
And his song, Piano Man.
By Joel Billy?
By Joel Billy. And the other classic off that album, Billy Joel, Joel Billy.
If I'm going to be honest, this is completely random, but I really quickly wanted to mention it. O.J. Simpson is a very strange...
Where is this coming
I don't
from,
know.
bro?
I was talking about this the other day with my mom. O.J. Simpson, so he wrote a book, right?
Yeah.
Called If I Did It.
Yeah.
But have you seen the pictures of it?
What?
Of the cover here. Let me look it up.
If I Did It?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't he like pretty much say he did it accidentally in it?
No, he can't say he did it because I'm pretty sure if you confess to the murder,
Well, yeah,
you can get charged for it.
But he
did this. The if is like that. He's pretty much confessing to it without saying he did it.
Oh, so it's on screen. The if is really small. In the word I.
Yeah, so he's pretty much saying that he did it without saying.
Because you can't even see it when it's zoomed out.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Do you think he has a guilty conscience? He definitely.
No, he just wanted a bag.
Maybe, but he definitely I feel like he did it.
Oh yeah, he definitely did. There's no doubt about it.
I love though when in the court when he like puts on the glove, but he like does this. So like when he go on, he's like, oh.
I can't believe he got acquitted. I genuinely can't. He tried to leave. He tried to leave.
We also hear Clem's voice as Joel approaches the house, and then another cool thing. Someone pointed this out on the internet. So he says it's Valentine of 2004 in this narration. When we go through the dreams, he says it's 03. Because it didn't like click for me that was like a twist. It's shocking when you find out that this has happened multiple times, but like it didn't click that this is supposed to be a different time.
This didn't happen right away, but once we started going through the dream sequences and stuff, I was like, so he's done this before. They've met together before. They've had a relationship together before. I kind of already pieced that part together. Yeah,
same. It's just like, that's the only like kind of knock I can give it. Like the biggest one I'd say is that it's almost too confusing for its own good. Like it's shocking when you piece it all together, but it's like, sometimes it's just like, it takes you something, you're like, oh.
I genuinely didn't think it was like from what you said, either I'm just a genius or something, but I felt like I kind of pieced it together and it wasn't that confusing for
me. I can't remember what was confusing. I think I just was trying to figure out what scenes take place in what time.
That was the one part that was hard for me for for 75% of the movie, but then the last 25 I pieced it all together and I was like, oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah. So, so then he goes on the train, and she seems impulsive and very like flip flop, and her mood changes like all over the place. So, and then they also like seem to know each other kind of. We see more of this when he takes her back to his apartment, or she takes him back to her apartment, and they like make all these presumptions, and they're like right all the time.
Yeah.
So then he says that he has like the boring life. He says he does the same thing over and over again. It's kind of a metaphor for him actually doing that in this relationship. So then we see Clem being impulsive again on the ice, the iconic poster, and Joel's being reserved. And then when they go back in the car, Elijah Wood, who I find his face just so fascinating.
Really?
He just yeah.
The one knock I can give this movie is I feel like it focused too much on the other doctors and stuff, and I feel like we didn't need that as much as we got.
I guess, but it's important to the end, like with the whole like affair thing, and then also I feel like it would have been a bit. I think it would have been more boring if they hadn't had that.
Because I really liked the parts with
because it being broken up, just like because they do it in Memento too. They break up the backwards with like the forward. If you don't really break it up, it may just get confusing, and just like it just feels like arbitrary at that point.
I wish we had more of a, instead of more focus on them, I would have liked more focus on Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey's characters.
I guess I could see where you're coming from. I just think that like after like thinking about it, like I think that they needed that. Like I can't imagine how good it would be without it.
Oh, also I could, for like when they first meet on the train, I like had to take my headphones off. I couldn't listen because it was like so cringy, but Jim, like I could still hear it, but I was like, oh. But Jim Carrey reminded me of me in this part.
Oh, yeah, I didn't find it that cringy. I was like, it's just like he doesn't really know how to. I was just thinking like, oh, poor guy.
So this person that I'm friends with now, right? She we met through another friend, right? And I've never talked to her in person. So like,
wait, is it the Minecraft?
No.
Oh.
It's this girl named Anna, right? And I've only talked to her like over Snapchat or something, right? And I told her, like, she's like, why don't you ask, I asked her for answers once, right? And she's like, why don't you ask someone from your class? It's like, because I don't know any, like, it's my chemistry class. I don't know anyone in my class whatsoever. And I'm like, I literally told her I'm like shy and I get anxious when I talk to people, new people. And she's like, really? You don't, like, she thought I was lying. She literally didn't think I was shy.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't know you then.
Yeah, because I never talked to her in person. I can talk easily over text, obviously.
Yeah. So why don't you just send it to somebody in your class? Like, look at the name and then be like, okay, and then text them.
I don't know.
So then after this, that's like 17 minutes worth of content, and then we finally cut to the opening titles, which is just like, it makes sense, and I can't tell if that was like for a reason. But it's just like so far into it. It's after, because this came out when they were still on film. So like it was after the first reel even went through. So Joel is now crying. He's like, he throws a tape recorder out the window, and obviously he has just broken up. This is actually back in time though. When we cut, we go back. So that's kind of interesting. And then I said here, the events of the film actually take place before the beginning, and the beginning is the end.
And also, if you guys are having a hard time, when you guys watch this movie, if you're having a hard time telling the difference between times, you can tell with her hair. Yeah.
Her blue hair, be it blue with like the kind of green coming through, or straight up blue, that's present. Yeah. Present timeline. Anything else, past. We'll talk about her hair more.
She changes her hair to blue right after, like,
because the hair the hair is for two reasons: to track it, and then it has symbolism. We'll talk about that later. But we then see the Mind Wipe truck following Joel. He walks in. He's not having a great time. The guy is asking how Clementine is, but he can't really answer because they just broke up. So this leads him to talk with the Alvin and the Chipmunks bad guy / good guy in later movies.
Yes.
I love that twist in Alvin and the Chipmunks 4 or something when he saves the day. I'm like, yes.
See, the thing with this is it's so funny for me when
his name is David Cross, by the way.
Yeah. When you see these smaller actors who are in movies that you know as a kid and stuff, interact with these huge actors, and you're like, I wonder if they're friends whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've seen David Cross in other things though.
Yeah, I definitely have, but I don't think he plays big roles.
No, I think he was just in a lot of early 2000s movies.
I just it always fascinates me is they're an A-list club where these certain people talk to each other and there's B-list, but or if they ever intermix and stuff.
They probably intermix. I mean, they all live near each other anyway. So, he shows Joel the mind wipe place, saying that Clementine did it, and then that's where we got the first cool dream sequence. He's in the library and transitions out as the lights goes. It's kind of cool.
How is this legal whatsoever though?
I don't know. It's probably not. I mean, it's a little.
That's probably why they erased the memories of the place as well.
Yeah. Because of this, Joel meets with the doctor. Here, he tells him what's going on with all this. So he agrees to do it, and he gathers up all of the things that remind him of her. And then we get that other sequence where it's third person, and he sees himself, and then he's in different places. So he's outside of the chair, but then he'll see himself in the chair in other places. Trippy, but it's cool. So then we get the main bulk of the film where we have the intercutting between the scientists, that being Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, the doctor, who I didn't look up his name, I'll just call him the doctor throughout this, and Kristen Dunst.
Very odd seeing Mark Ruffalo in this movie.
Yeah. And this, because this was significantly before we see him, 2012, the Avengers and all that.
Actually, wait, I do know in a movie we could do is Shutter Island, I think.
Yeah.
That's completely random, but we don't. That's not next week, so we don't even know what next week is.
Shutter Island 2010?
Probably around then.
Yeah.
Because he looks around.
Leo did a movie every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that amazing run that he has Shutter Island, The Revenant, Wolf of Wall Street.
I like Leo.
Yeah, he's really good. He seems so out of it nowadays. Just when he's not acting, I've seen him in interviews, he's always just so confused.
He's probably just working a lot and tired.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think he's so disconnected at this point. I mean, he's 50 or something.
Yeah.
He's old now. So sad. It's told backwards, like I said, kind of the Memento style. And then we start by seeing the last time he saw her. They have a fight. We then see the next big hiccup, which is their second to last hiccup with the kids. This is where we see even more of their personality. Clem is impulsive. She sees the kid. She wants a kid. And Joel is very held back. He's not willing to take that step. They're just their personalities, if they worked, would be perfect for each other because Clementine needs that more reserved person to hold her back, and Joel needs that person to bring him out, and they have to kind of meet in the middle. But they can't, and then it puts them in the cycle. So, the next big jump is kind of where things get hard for Joel because this is where we see the peak of their relationship, the happiest they are. They're bonding, they're close.
So cute.
Yeah, and so obviously everything's warm toned. They're happy, they're smiling, all that. They even talk about their insecurities. They get closer, and so as this happens and everything's falling apart around him, he realizes that he wants to keep this. He realizes that it's more about the experience and not about the outcome. So he kind of wants to hold on. Well, he doesn't realize that yet, but that's what's going on. He wants to keep the good parts. So it's a question if he wants to sacrifice the good for the bad.
I also wonder, does he ever even go to work?
I don't know. Yeah, he skips the train at the beginning and. I assume so.
No consequence for it whatsoever either.
Yeah, I can't tell if... Well, she works at the library.
Barnes & Noble, actually.
It's Barnes & Noble?
I'm pretty positive.
I missed that Barnes & Noble by us.
It's where Ross is now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is all intercut with the subplot between Mark Ruffalo Dunst and the doctor as Joel tries to hide in his different sectors of his mind, and they keep finding him. And then there's a bit of sexual tension between the doctor and Dunst. So then we explore more of Joel and Clem. We kind of see why they are the way they are. Joel gets bullied and is alone, and like Clem said she was alone, and she's like acknowledging that she's impulsive. Big step in like fixing something is acknowledging it. So that's kind of important for her. But and then I noted this is probably like one of the saddest shots, and it's just the one where like the house decays. It's just like, I mean, this movie has like a lot about life and relationships, so it's depressing for sure.
Yeah, he also, another thing is though, like, she mentions later on that she knows like nothing about him. We even as the audience know nothing about him whatsoever. Yeah,
we pretty much, but the thing is, I don't know if there's anything to know, because we do see a glimpse of his journal, and it literally is just about Clementine. It's like I think he just has a really like simple life.
But I mean, just about his childhood and stuff. We see him get bullied once, but we don't know like actually how tough anything was for him.
Well, it looks like his mom was like nice to. It just seems like he probably was like one of those weird kids. He gets bullied, and his mom is like nice to him, but just even before she sees him, she's just like kind of distant. I think. I think he's like used to not having somebody, and that makes him so reserved, because every time he did try to find somebody, friends, he gets bullied. So I think that just those two scenes kind of tell us everything we really need to know.
Also, I just realized something. It says he said in the beginning he didn't write in the journal in like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know how long they dated the first time, but he could have met her like at that bonfire 2 years back. I don't know for sure. And then like since they start dating after that and stuff, that's his happiest moments, and that's why he doesn't feel the need to write in that journal as much then.
Probably. So then we cut back. This is like where Joel's like, he's trying. He like opens his eyes and he can actually like wake up kind of, but like can't move. And then Joel says that he felt very comfortable with her, and then this is where we cut back to Dunst, who gives the quote. We'll explore this in the deeper themes section after we finish the scene by scene here. This is also the title drop, of course. Always gotta love a good title drop. So then she, lays one on the doctor. Dunst does, and then the wife catches this.
Yeah.
Strange thing that like she found. I don't know.
Well, okay. I don't think it's strange.
Well, it's just weird that she like drove to where he is while he's doing work.
He probably has like papers at home of like whose patients are and stuff, and like who's being treated at that night.
Maybe. No, I don't think it's weird that she found them. I think it's weird that she just go, unless she had a suspicion that.
Oh, she definitely did.
Yeah.
He probably did this many times, because remember we find out that he had to pass with her, so he probably would use an excuse. I'm going with a patient. Yeah, that's how we learn. So then, as she's driving away, she's like, no, tell her, and then we learn that they had a past, and that she got her mind wiped. So when we cut back to Joel, we understand how Joel is he's trying to break the cycle. Like he realizes he's done this before. We don't know how many times he's done it. We know this is at least twice, but at the end we see the same thing happen 4 times. So probably at least 4, and assuming that this happens again, 5. And so like 4 minimum, and then they're like 20, 30 at this point, so it could have been happening for 10 years for all we know. So then everything's falling apart. They break into the house, and Joel reflects on his mistakes, how he turned her away, like with Naomi and everything. And then as they embrace, as everything falls apart around them, Clem whispers, "Meet me in Montauk," which is where they end up meeting at the beginning. Then memories are driving by him as Clem talks, and then he wakes up. Dunst grabs a bunch of files and from the work, so patient files and recordings, puts them in the back of her car, and then we revisit the first scene again, getting new context to it. So this is Montauk. Obviously, we learned kind of why he went there, and then they bond more, and as they're further into a relationship, we see Elijah Wood and obviously and everything, and then they play the old tapes, and this is where they realize that they hear all the things they hate about each other. They realize that they've done this before, and I think that it's pretty obvious that they can't erase everything, because this obviously brings that back, and also
just like the Montauk. And
it also just shows they're meant to be together, that they keep finding each other.
Yeah.
After.
So then they, as they leave, as she leaves his apartment, he finally makes a decision to go out. And this is an impulse decision. So he's actually going somewhere. He decides that he wants to break the cycle. She agrees. She's admitting her mistake. She says that she's just a broken girl. She can't really help him. But he says he wants to try and make it work. And then we get that final scene where it's them running on the beach. It plays the exact same thing 4 times over this song that low-key slaps.
This is the first time he also stands up for something that he wants and something that he believes in this relationship, because throughout the entire time when she's like, I don't want a baby, or she's like, I want a baby, and he's like, he doesn't want one, or in the restaurant, he's so reserved and he's like, I don't want to talk about this here. I don't want to talk about this here. So
this is the first time he actually makes a stand. So now we can get kind of into the deeper... Oh, wait, no, actually, before we start the deeper messages, I want to talk about some deleted scenes, because there's a good amount here. So for one, there's supposed to be a subplot with him having an affair with Naomi, his ex-girlfriend. And
I'm happy that wasn't in it.
Yeah, that would have been just kind of weird. I don't know where it's supposed to be. There was also a love scene between Ruffalo and Dunst that was cut. I guess that's a good thing. 1, pacing, and 2, that means they're probably doing it right next to Joel's lifeless body. So a little strange. And then so they were going to talk about an album called Rain Dogs. This was cut. It had something to do, I don't know. I think it was just supposed to be another clue, but they thought they had enough, so they're like, whatever, we don't need this. And then there's also going to be a different ending where an older Clem is going back, and then she sees all the, sees that she's done this because of Joel before, and so last second she decides not to, but it goes through anyway, and then the movie ends. So either way, it was supposed to be kind of this one has a bit happier ending, except that song at the end is so sad that I don't even think you can even consider it a happy ending.
Yeah.
But
they end up together though.
Yeah, but we don't know.
I hope
we can presume that they actually don't even. It just depends on how sad you want to take it, because it's a sad movie.
I think they end up together because I think throughout this entire movie you can tell that they've probably had this thing done to them more than once. So the fact that they keep finding each other, I think just they're finally together. They both have changed throughout this, and
they changed. But we saw in the scene where in the forest, they both have changed there. But it happens. They get their minds wiped.
But how much of that is true, because it's him talking about her as a memory.
Memories can be tainted, but it also, I don't think it's an unbiased memory. It's just a memory.
No, I'm saying because he talks about the wake thing, but then we see it cut to when he's in there, so it could just be him going through the memories again, talking to her. But I'm saying it could be something where that's not actually how the memory went, but he's having a conversation with her that's different than what actually happened, but it's in the same scenery as it was.
Maybe. I don't know. Could be. It depends on how you take it.
Because she even knows what he's thinking throughout the movie. Remember when we see the underwear part, and she's like, you wanted to do this to me.
Well, it's pretty obvious, though. And plus, even on the train, when they just got their minds wiped, they make presumptions about each other. Like I said earlier, they can't completely erase each other from, even with this thing. So I think that I don't know, things just carry through. Maybe she just has an understanding of him. Plus, at that point in the forest, they had been together for a year, we can presume. So it makes sense. It would make sense that she would know what he's thinking. He's not too complicated. He says it himself. So there was also going to be glimpses of other people getting it done, like a soldier and stuff like that. And then the doctor was originally it was even going to be darker. The doctor was going to have aborted a baby from Dunst and then mind wiped.
Wow.
Or, I don't know if it was she wanted it done, but the point is there was going to be a baby aborted involved. So now we can get into the deeper themes. So let's start with the title. So Eternal Sunshine is obviously true happiness. That's how I took it. It could be just eternal happiness. Either way, it's happiness. Then Spotless Mind is untainted. So, it's pretty much asking or saying that true happiness only comes in which is untainted. So that's kind of depressing. So and then I said these personalities make it impossible to kind of like break the cycle. They're just so. It's like I don't know, because like it's like part of it you could see it that their personalities bring them together, but they're so like juxtaposed. Like, her impulsiveness means that every time that they get in a little fight, which they will because of Joel's kind of reservedness, she's gonna go make that impulse decision to get her mind wiped. So it's like almost a cycle that can't be broken unless they really try to. But every time they get their mind wiped, they can't think about their past mistakes. But every time, they're going to get their mind wiped every time. It's a cycle.
I don't think the cycle's going to continue after this, though. After the ending.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Because we don't see everything. We don't know how many times that, they've tried to make things work. And then it's just, I don't know. Because we never really see, she acknowledges that she, like, is why she wants a relationship. But that doesn't change that she's impulsive.
But also, you have to remember that they both kind of change at the end, and also they both hear these terrible things that they both said about each other, and they still continue to have that. They still decide to go through with it and make it work.
Yeah, but even when he denies her on the beach, we see he denies her. He admits that. Why would he like make that up? They end up together at that point. So we know that even when they start rough, they keep going, and then all it takes is one little bicker, which is to assume they never get in a bicker after this, for Clementine to make that impulse decision to go get her mind wiped.
I don't think she would do it again, though. I think she's changed somewhat. I think she's still impulsive, but I think she still knows somewhat better now and what's important to her, what truly is important, because she is someone who finally made that impulse decision to. So she's met him that night, and she can already tell that he's, as you said earlier, there's nothing too special about him. He's kind of reserved and stuff. She sees someone who she met the night ago completely change over her in one night.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just can't see what would have changed her so drastically to make it so that she would not make the decision. Like, yes, she hears the tapes and she knows this is something she's done, but I think that she may, just because she's impulsive, may think, like, be so mad, storm out and be like, didn't I get my mind wiped? That, like, I felt better after that. Maybe I'll do it again. And then she does it again.
But you also have to remember, she didn't feel better after it. She starts going crazy and crying to her boyfriend, remember?
Well, that's because, I think that's because Elijah is, like, doing the same things she did. Because the point of getting rid of the things is to not bring the memory back. But since he's doing what he did, what Joel did, it's bringing it back. So she's just like, it's not because she's sad, it's because it's getting like all, I guess it's because she's sad. It's because it's like coming back. But like she can't, it's been wiped, so she can't remember what's coming back, but the emotion of it is. So I don't think that she'd be like, oh, that's where that came from, because it was wiped from her mind. Because we don't know the technology well enough to know that, let's say you do keep something of her, because we do see that Joel kept a painting or a picture. Oh wait, no, they got that. Yeah, we don't really know. Okay, so they have the recorders, but like the tape recordings. But had they just read the paper, do you think that like that would have sprung it back necessarily? I mean, they literally listened to each other talk crap on each other. That's what took them to make the decision. I don't know. I'd like to think that it would end up good, but it's hard to think that, she changed. So, I mean, it's just such an easy thing to do, it seems. You go in, you get it done.
Yeah, I think that she, even though she's impulsive and stuff, she's bitchy, she says that herself, she wants someone who's going to care about her, and her now ex, the guy was just faking emotions to get with her. And she sees someone who's changing for her over one night and is being similar to her. But she's telling her that is actually caring about her. It's not just some fake thing to get with her. Yeah.
I don't know. I could see both sides. I know the first time I watched it, I thought that they ended up together. But when I was breaking it down, I don't know. My opinion, I don't even think I'd necessarily, I'm just kind of saying this to go along with the themes. But I don't necessarily think that they would split up again and again and again. But I don't know. Hey, let us know down in the comments below. What do you think? But anyway, I think that, she gets it done, and then, or hypothetically, if she got it done, the reason Joel does it is to ease the pain, make things normal, because normalcy is a huge thing for him. And then this asks the questions like, is that okay? Is, true happiness coming from something new, something that you want? Like, is it a sad story by forgetting, are you living, Like, because, they don't remember it, but they're truly happy for that time. Then they get it wiped, and then they're truly happy, eternal sunshine, spotless mind. That's the whole thing. I don't know. What do you like? Do you think that if this was possible, that'd be true? Because there is something to it. Like the beginning of a relationship, you kind of look back on it nostalgically.
The beginning of the relationship, there's always not
like the butterflies. There's that feeling is different from when it ages.
There's a honeymoon phase of all relationships.
Yep. I mean, that's what honeymoon. Like right after you get married, honeymoon. That's the whole point. So it's like. That's kind of what it's asking. Is it okay? Is that what's more important, memories or true happiness coming from that? Or is even true happiness?
Also, though, I think she would remember because she's pretty much. I think she would choose not to do it again because she's remembering. She's starting to somewhat remember, but she can't figure out what she was remembering when her boyfriend then was like doing all the same things. Yeah. It's driving her crazy. She's probably like freaking out. She probably wouldn't want to feel that again whatsoever. So she'd probably just rather take the memories than forgetting something and not knowing what she forgot.
Yeah. I mean, I think this movie says yes to that. The question, says that true happiness does come and that's okay, because like the quote even, it starts with how happy is a blameless vessel. Pretty much saying, how happy are they when they're have no none of the scars or whatever you want to call it, the weight of the past. I think that's kind of the whole point of this, is asking those questions. And like any good question a movie asks, you can come up with different answers. That's where we're disagreeing here. I think that the story captures life and relationships really well, and this is where I say that it's not always about the outcome, it's about the journey, because while the heartbreak is really hard for them, I think that it shows when Joel's going back through everything, like he realizes that he'd rather keep that pain of the end and also keep the months of just pure happiness than lose it all.
Yeah, I've even said this to Molly,
his girlfriend.
Yeah, of 1 year. So if me and her ever broke up, I don't think I'd delete the pictures of just her, but I don't think I'd delete the ones of me and her and all the things she's given me. I don't think I'd get rid of that stuff because that's memories. I'm gonna want to keep that and remember it one day.
Well, you would delete some of them, right?
Yeah.
Your whole camera roll is her.
Yeah, I said I'd delete the one. I don't have that.
You and her.
Yeah. I would delete all the ones of just her, but I would keep most of the ones that are me and her.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would, because I can still remember it. I don't need reminders, but I can remember it.
Well, when you're 50 and you want to remember your first ever relationship.
Well, I wouldn't delete all of them, but I would, I'd keep some. I wouldn't keep them all for sure, in my opinion. So this is I mean, I just said, man, this is such a depressing movie. The first time I watched this, I thought about this movie for a week and a half. Every day I was thought about this movie, and I have a feeling this is going to be the same this time. The only difference is I wrote my feelings down, so maybe I won't remember it as much.
Yeah, I'm going to force Molly to watch it.
Why would you watch this with your girlfriend?
Because.
Why would anyone do that? That's I don't know. I can't think of any other breakup movies, but why would anyone do that?
Because it's a good movie.
Not to watch with your girlfriend, though.
I don't think it matters that much. It's just a movie.
I guess. Hits hard, though, in my opinion. It does for me. Movies hit me hard. That's what happens. So now we can talk about Clem's hair. So obviously it's to track the plot, but along with that, it's it kind of represents what's going on in their relationship. So green often represents envy or whatever, but in this case, I think that it represents more the season. So green is spring, blooming, obviously. So at the beginning, which is kind of the end of the dream sequence, it's green for it just starting out, and then it becomes red. Red is obviously the color of love. It's what it is and everything. It's like at this point we just like associate, like subliminally associate red with love, and then turn
or anger.
Or anger, yeah, I guess. But here it's supposed to represent love, I think. And then it turns orange, associated with fall. Obviously, as the passion dies out and no longer exists. It kind of also like the red, like light orange is just like feels like less red, kind of going away. So, and then it's blue when we meet her again. So, just like 7 or anything else, blue usually means sad or gloomy. But blue, I mean, obviously that's like wintertime if we're sticking with this analogy. But the key thing here is that like the blue, even though it means like winter and dormancy, it, spring always comes back. So, and even at the very end, we see like the green roots coming back from the middle. So, yeah, I think that it rests at that point when we meet them again, or he meets her again, but not forever. So, in the end, the truth is that, we can't erase memory, and even if we could, I don't think emotion can be erased, and that's kind of like the thing here. They aren't perfect for each other, but they need each other, and just like the what is it? Montauk? Montauk is like, yes, it's like a fact that he remembers to go there, but like he doesn't like do it intentionally. It's like an emotion, a thing he's like drawn to her. So
he even remembers the house at the very beginning.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that if they tried to make it work, they could help each other, and that we never really can know if eternal sunshine does come from the spotless mind.
All right, so I give this movie...
Wait. Don't you want to talk about the... Like, is this possible?
Oh, yes. First, we're going to pull up...
Yeah, well, let's start with this. We don't really know the exact science behind this. I mean, we've even hit this in this review, this kind of hiccup. Like, how does exactly it work? Because all we know is that they have this machine hooked up with this big sci-fi dome thing on his head, and it kind of zaps him away. But the question is, outside of that, is it possible to erase certain specific portions of somebody's mind?
So, we have an article from psychologytoday.com from here. And it even starts off as, do you remember Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yes, we do. We're reviewing it right now.
So then this talks about how you might be surprised to learn that psychologists and neuroscientists are seriously considering the possibility that painful memories can be erased. So most of the ones that I've looked over are like mind wiping be erased overall.
What I saw was that PTSD is easy to target.
Yes, yeah, it talks about this as well. And it's like that's why it says painful memories, because most people that you see there are probably painful memories.
Yeah.
And so it can be erased. The starting point of the idea is that memories of emotional events in the brain must be consolidated, strengthened before they become permanent. Furthermore, it is assumed that even old, already consolidated memories have a reconsolidated each time they are activated. Finally, it is assumed that memories are highly vulnerable to disruption in the specific time window during the reconsolidation takes place. The idea that this provides an opportunity to permanently change memories with specific laboratory techniques. So pretty much this movie got it really spot on from what we're reading here. Got it really spot on because the memories are built, then they bring them out again, and that's when it's most vulnerable again. Yeah,
because the idea is like, you can't just erase like the bad parts. They have to erase the entire thing. So,
do you know if they talked to scientists during this whatsoever?
I don't think they did. I don't think they had a consolidation. Plus, this is probably more recent. I don't think that in 2003 and 2 when they were writing this, they would have that kind of research done.
So if these assumptions are indeed correct, then one can take memory traces unstable and even get rid of them permanently. Some claim that this is no longer science fiction. In fact, one of the Samaniel's studies on this topic was published in the scientific journal Nature by a group of world-renowned neuroscientists. A great idea in a journal by a great team of researchers. What more proof do you want? This is also what Belgian psychologist Tom Beckers thought when he initiated his research project on this topic. His plan to start from the Nature paper and explore the mechanism involved, as well as capitalized on some of his clinical treatment applications. However, to his surprise and dismay of his collaborators, they did not observe memory erasure effect when repeating the original study. Furthermore, when they requested the data of the original study, they noticed that statistical reanalysis that had been published in Nature either after 4 years of painstaking efforts to figure out what was going on. Beckers and his team have now published 2 papers, one reporting their failure to replicate the original results in a new study, and one reporting their failure to reproduce the results using the original data. So, using the original data, where apparently they did wipe someone, not this team, but a different team, wipe someone's memory, they weren't able to complete it even using what they did. So
it's probably not true. Because I couldn't even... I mean, I'm not a scientist or a psychologist, but I can't see that being true. I think you can suppress memories, but like in terms of how they do it here, where they literally just like zap it, I don't think that's possible.
This one's from Wikipedia, but memory erasure is a selective artificial removal of memories of associations from the mind. Memory erasure has been shown possible in some experimental conditions. Some of the techniques currently being used are drug-induced amnesia, selective memory suppression, destruction of neurons, interruption of memory reconsolidation, and disruption of specific molecular mechanisms. So reconsolidation is the one I think we just went over in the past article. So I think, with the drug-induced amnesia, I think that one's probably the most likely one.
Yeah, but then the question becomes, how safe is that? And also, how long does it last?
And then they also talked about selective memory suppression. I don't know the specifics about that.
Well, yeah, so that's probably, we don't know the specifics, but that obviously is just like you get a memory out and then you just bring it down, but like not erase it. What it sounds like is it's impossible to erase a memory as this movie says it is, but it's possible to suppress a memory.
Yeah.
A specific one at that. So, verdict... undetermined, kind of in between.
Yeah, and
partially true.
Maybe that in 10 years this question will be answered with new technology.
Maybe. I mean, all these sci-fi movies may not be sci-fi for so long.
So I mean, in 10 movies, this movie could
10 movies?
10 years, this movie could have actually happened.
You never know. Only you know. Only you know if you're watching this then. But if you're watching this then, well, thank you. What are you doing? Watch a new video.
Yeah, loser.
Yeah, come on. Why are you all the way back here?
I mean, if you are here, you might as well just, hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. 33% of you are not subscribed. So do that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you ready to give our ratings?
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll give it an A+.
I give it an A+. And then I give it a 99%.
99? I'm really teetering between a 99 and 98. I think I have to go with 99 because it holds up so well in a rewatch as well. I don't see many flaws with it. It makes you think. When it's one of those themes where it's like hits hard. Like it's not a theme to be a theme. It's like they wanted to ask this question. They had a good plot around it. So, and I love that song that plays at the end. Man, does that just get me in a sad mood every time? If I need a sad mood, I just listen to that song.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. That's just like, I'll like sit here and like look at the ceiling and be like,
poor Jack.
Right there, sit on that ground and looked at the ceiling one time.
So lonely. If any of you guys are watching this and you are of the female nature, Jack is looking for a girlfriend.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking for a boyfriend. I'm kidding. By the way, put that song on Spotify. There's like legal troubles with it, so it's not on Apple Music or Spotify. You can listen to it on YouTube. But, yeah, that's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Alright, so that was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. We hope you enjoyed. You can listen to the full podcast on Spotify, which I forgot to mention my last outro. Great job, Jack. That's me.
An idiot. Oh my god.
You can always look in the description. It's there. But yeah, we also have TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All at Rebored Podcast. You can check us out there. We hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe. 33% of you are not. So do that. Also like, comment, everything, anything, do anything. All of it helps. Even hate comments help. So leave hate comments. Bash us. Make fun of us.
Do it.
Ask questions too. And if you have any questions on this or the Truman Show that just came out, just leave them down there and we'll answer them next audio podcast. with all that being said, that was episode. No, why would I say the episode? That was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Electric Gang.
Episode 14.
Why would you say episode 14?
Because it's episode 14, right?
But they don't. This is a different thing. They don't know.
We should still keep track so that they have an idea of what episode this is because they've been grouping. All right, bye guys.
Electric Gang.